Good evening, America. Welcome to Battleground Live. This is the show where we kick ass, we take names, we lock horns with the radical left. We never quit, we never surrender from sea to shining sea, and everybody in between. Welcome, Patriots, on this glorious, what is it? Thursday. Yes, the week is flying by. I have to tell you, I am struggling just a little bit today. A couple of days ago, my daughter, my middle daughter, went home from school early, said that she had a little bit of a fever. And I thought to myself, well, that kind of stinks. I feel terrible for her because, of course, I do, because she's my daughter and I love my daughter. But, it's just a kid virus. How much harm could it do? And let me tell you, oh my goodness. I woke up this morning and just a terrible, terrible headache, terrible congestion, terrible sore throat. That's the worst part about this. And I thought, well, holy smokes, how in God's name am I ever going to get through the show today? It's going to be crazy. But it doesn't matter. We will drive on. We will push through. And listen, some folks were asking in the live chat talking about Rumble. Yeah, I mean, especially Paul. And folks, if you're listening to the intro as we cover some of this admin stuff and Fort Parnell stuff as we typically do, Rumble. I love Rumble and I'm grateful for the platform. But folks were saying, "Oh man, what do you Rumble like? What do you?" We get a lot of viewers, and sometimes we have many likes, sometimes we don't. And I've tried to figure this out. And the perfectly honest with you, I'm just absolutely not sure. But what I do know is that we have a core audience of just kick-ass members of the battle crew. We've got McGroin Nation, and we've got Nunchucks in the house. Of course, the great Dan Nunn rated the stream today. So welcome to the Nunchucks and folks, battle crew, McGroin Nation. If you're not already following the Nunn Report, he's there in the live chat. Go over and support him, give him a follow. We've got to do everything that we can to support independent content creators, because really, folks, this is the future of the business. It was interesting. I saw Van Jones talking at a New York Times forum, and I actually considered talking about this on the show tonight, like pulling some sound and talking about it more in depth than I'm going to do right now. But he said, and I agree, that traditional media is completely dead. I agree. Independent content creators are the future. I mean, this show, obviously, we're completely independent. Dan Nunn's another one, completely independent. We should do everything we can to support independent content creators. And as I just smash that like button while we're conversing here at the top of the show, that little green thumb beneath the video, smash it. It helps us make the leaderboard. What I do know as I try to figure out this Rumble stuff is that likes help us get to the leaderboard. That much I do know. And you know what is also crazy about Rumble, because lots of folks have questions about Rumble in the live chat prior to the show. Marnie says you have that shirt. This is a cool shirt, isn't it? This was a limited edition Battleground Live shirt. That's my dog. This is Pups McGee. You see, politics is hell. And it says right here on it, Republican, because Pups McGee, my dog, is a Republican. So yes, if you have this shirt, know that it's a limited edition shirt for members of the battle crew. But that's pretty cool, Marnie. I'm glad that you have it. We're trying to figure out Rumble. Sorry, a little all over the place today. A little bit under the weather. Trying to power my way through here. Rumble's a little bit it surprises me how many people don't know about Rumble. And what's amazing is that every single month that goes by, I do think that Rumble gets a little better, gets a little sleeker, gets a little bit more user friendly. And so I think over time, it's really going to become a powerhouse in the video, content creator space. But it's amazing when people ask about the show and they ask where it is. I say, Rumble, and they're still, even to this day, it's amazing how many people just, what's Rumble? So I think I I think we should all try to a certain extent to be ambassadors for Rumble because this platform, especially from a video content sharing perspective, along with X, let me tell you, they're a big reason why President Trump won this race. I mean, to allow the American people, these are free speech platforms, to allow us to go out there and speak the truth, the actual real truth. Listen, do not underestimate how powerful that was for us in this cycle, and Rumble was a big part of that story. So, just as much as you're, an ambassador for Battleground Live, which I know that many of you are. I love you. You're the best. I consider, hell, you guys are like members of the family. What's crazy is that we've been doing the show for over a year now, and many of you have been with me since the very beginning. I mean, I feel like we know each other. We talk. I mean, where else? I mean, seriously, consider the blessings of what we have here with this show. I mean, really, truly. I mean, Battleground Live is largely considered to be one of the best live chats on Rumble. We have such a welcoming community. It was said from the very beginning that this show is all about building a movement to save this country. And you all have taken that to heart and taken that very, very seriously. But where else are you going to get an opportunity to sit down in a medium like this, where we talk politics with like-minded individuals, where you're able to communicate with people in real time as the show goes on to community build? Folks, there's really no other place to do that. And especially for conservatives, America First patriots like all of us. But I'm telling you, folks, I feel like we all really know each other. Like we're all, members of the same America First family. And it's a blessing, right? It's just important to be grateful for the things that we have in this world. And so with all of that said, yes, still trying to figure out Rumble on the daily. Yes, I'm not sure how the algorithm stuff works. I just try to show up for you every single day and bring the heat. Yeah, folks, listen. Right off the top rope today, I mean, there's so many things happening, and we're just going to get right through them because I feel like over the last week, especially maybe the last 2 weeks, we've been leaving a lot of stuff on the cutting room floor. And some of that stuff, is, breaking news that I really want to talk to you about. And if I'm not talking to you about breaking news and getting you the most up-to-date information, then what the hell is the point of the show? You know what I mean? So I feel like I've got to do a better job at moving through the information and in an expeditious way, yet also leave enough time to go into detail with you all. So long story short, yes, working on getting better every day. Yes, working on understanding Rumble a little bit more every single day, but lots more to come on that front. But one of the things that I saw this morning that I think was, it's just, again, another unbelievably concerning thing coming out of the Biden White House was this. Joe Biden pardons 2 Chinese spies and an individual accused of possessing child pornography. So Wan Zhu and Ji Xiaoqun and Shanlin Jin, Biden pardoned all of these people. So in the case of Yan Jun, his offense, conspiracy to commit economic espionage, to commit trade secret theft, attempted economic espionage by theft or fraud, attempted theft of trade secrets by taking or deception, or in the case of Ji Xiaoqun, conspiracy to defraud the United States, impersonating agents of foreign governments, statements or entries generally. And then Shanlin Jin, possession of child pornography. And it wasn't just, it was a shitload. This is of child pornography. And Biden pardoned these people. Again, you'd think that this would be headline news on ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, but it's not. In truth, you've got to watch shows like this to actually hear any reporting on the subject. And it's like as if you needed another proof point that the Biden crime family syndicate really are. I mean, especially Biden himself and Hunter Biden, probably Biden's brother as well. They are bought and paid for foreign agents. They are wholly owned subsidiaries of the communist Chinese. And how did Nunchuck? I mean, how can you pardon a foreigner? Well, if they're arrested and charged in this country, I mean, that's a good question. It's certainly a good distinction, isn't it? I imagine if they were charged by our Department of Justice, the president has broad pardon powers, whether or not someone is a U.S. citizen or not. And I mean, I gotta believe that as long as they're not on the terrorist watch list, the president. I mean, look, the president has broad pardon powers. He can basically pardon whoever he wants. So, it's like a couple things. Obviously, the Biden crime family is extremely corrupt. We've known that. This is another proof point. But I think this also is another proof point in my theory of Biden and his administration, whoever the hell is calling the shots, doing everything they can to sow chaos, both domestically, abroad, with regards to these wars, national security, foreign policy, just stoke the fires of conflict and chaos prior to Trump getting in office. The world at this moment in time seems to be a powder keg in so many ways, and the Biden administration is just right there with a match, ready to burn it all down. And so it's hard to see the Biden administration, Joe Biden himself, pardoning 2 Chinese spies and a Chinese foreign national in possession of child porn. What possible reasoning could Joe Biden have for doing something like that, unless it's he has a very inappropriate relationship with the communist Chinese, right? I mean, that's probably the only conclusion that I can come to. Now, sure, the White House, I'm sure, will spin some bullshit about it, but what I just said is undeniably true. These are Chinese spies. I just read to you their charges right there in black and white, and I don't think that Joe Biden should be pardoning these people. I just don't. But look, folks, we have lots of reasons to be optimistic. And I think that, I've been really trying to tie a greater sense of optimism into the show because so much of this last year has just been unbelievable to be a part of. We lived through so many historical moments. It's really, truly hard to wrap your mind around all of it. Many of the things that we lived through, we will probably remember until the day that we pass from this earth, telling stories to our children and our grandchildren about where we were, what the day smelled like, what the weather was like, what we had for lunch. I mean, the iconic historical moments in U.S. history. We lived through them, and there were so many of them in the last year. So a lot of the last year was covering some really, really difficult and tough shit, right? Really hard stuff. So I've been trying to weave in some more optimism because, Trump won. And even though it's a dangerous time between his victory and him being sworn in late January, I think we have reason to be optimistic. Trump today was the first president since Reagan to ring in the bell at the New York Stock Exchange. Again, yet another historical moment that we might not witness again in our lifetimes. Kind of cool, right? And it's like, it just feels like America is back. It's New York City. It's hardly a super conservative area. In fact, many of the CEOs and business owners in New York City are hardcore Democrats. I will say this about many of the Democrats in New York City. They're capitalists that like to make money. So they're not crazy communist Democrats, but they're still Democrats nonetheless. And so not only did Trump ring in the bell in historical fashion, but listen to the chants that broke out on the New York Stock Exchange floor.
This really signifies business is back. Business is open. It's so anti-business the last 4 years.
Yes.
The fact that you have CEOs on the floor there welcoming him in a much different way, I think, than they did back in 2016, really signals people are ready for business in America to be open.
Can you hear that? USA,
Yep.
USA. That's the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, the cathedral of capitalism, ladies and gentlemen.
And by the way, Stuart, and you probably know this, they all wear the American flag on the side of their trading jackets. It's an incredible, as Lauren said, an incredibly proud group of Americans.
Something is happening. Battle Crew, McGroin Nation, Nunchuck, something is happening in this country. Now, yesterday, we talked about it from a polling standpoint. Even on CNN, they couldn't conceal it, that optimism in America is through the roof. And as a corollary, trust in the media has never been lower. And so it's absolutely a great time to be an American. We have lots of reasons to be optimistic. And of course, I'm sure that you saw the news that Trump was just named Time Magazine Person of the Year, because of course it had to be Trump, right? I mean, other people who were up for consideration was Kamala Harris, but my God, like, there's no other person it could be. I mean, it absolutely had to be Trump. And so you look back over the course of this year, from the mugshot to Trump lying almost dead on a stage in Butler County on July 13th to Time Magazine Person of the Year. And even 3 months ago, Time Magazine, this was their cover. In trouble, right there with Trump on a golf cart. From Time Magazine 3 months ago, in trouble, to Time Magazine today, Donald Trump, Person of the Year.